Hey guys, this is Sameer for Digit.in and this is our review of the Samsung Gear VR. Now of course when you're wearing one of these on your head you really can't see what's happening in the real world, but nonetheless we're going to tell you if you should invest your money in the Gear VR. Kicking things off with the build and design of the headset, it's made mostly from plastic and it feels sturdy. There is a mesh of rubber and velcro which ensures a tight structure around the eyes and is comfortable as well. The headset has velcro straps that can be adjusted easily. So regardless of how big or small your head is, the headset will fit you well. Now one of the biggest cons of the Gear VR is the flap under which the smartphone rests. Not only is this one of the first things that you will lose, but it also feels very flimsy. Now remember, the Gear VR is only compatible with Samsung smartphones. You need to have either the Galaxy S6, the Galaxy S6 Edge, the S6 Edge Plus, the Note 5, the Galaxy S7 or the Galaxy S7 Edge. So the Gear VR headset is compatible with only 6 Samsung smartphones. So if you own one of these smartphones, it makes sense for you to invest in the Gear VR. We really don't think you should buy the Gear VR and then the smartphone unless you really want that virtual reality experience which this headset offers. There is a USB port on the Gear VR headset and a touchpad along with the back button rests on the right side. There is a volume rocker on the right too. There is a focus wheel on the top, and if you move the focus wheel you can physically see the smartphone move closer and further away from the lens. Now, a very cool thing about the Gear VR headset is that if you want to interact with the real world without actually removing the headset, you can use the smartphone's camera to see what's happening in the real world. Now, a disadvantage is to do this, you will have to remove the flap that's covering the smartphone, which is another reason why you will lose it. It would have been really easy if there was a leash or some method by which this just hung on the side, but then again it would interfere with your VR experience if it ever came off and just hung there and you hit it with your hand by accident. Another reason why the flap is so flimsy. For the audio experience, you would be wise to use a pair of headphones for a more immersive experience. There is space for you to fit in a headphones pin into the smartphone. A downside is that an L-shaped headphone pin won't fit, and that is a bummer. Now, if you're someone like me that wears glasses, then I can tell you that the Gear VR is quite comfortable. Sure, when you remove the headset or wear the headset, it takes a little time to adjust and put it on correctly. But yeah, if you're someone that is wearing glasses and is worried about the Gear VR being uncomfortable, you can rest assured that it is comfortable, as I have tried it for a really long time. Setting up the Gear VR is a breeze. You put your smartphone in the housing, wear the headset and wait for the Oculus app to download. Once the app is downloaded, you can navigate the menu in the VR headset itself, but we recommend you remove the headset and go through the app on your phone to download games and apps. It's easier to search for apps and skip pages and type names of the apps you are looking for. This is something you can't do from the comfort of the headset and is a major drawback. Let's get the worst out of the way. You will look silly in public wearing this device, and if you think it's a good idea to wear this on the metro or in the backseat of a car, we'll say think again. Experiencing a game that requires you to turn your head in the backseat of a car is an open invitation to vomiting all over the place. The battery life of the device is subject to not only how much you use it, but also to the Samsung phone you are using it with. On an average, it consumes 20% of your smartphone's battery in 1 hour. Another downside to consuming content in VR is that you have absolutely no idea of what's happening around you. I've hit my hand on the desk while watching Netflix in VR a lot. Also, you won't be aware of what people around you are doing, which can sometimes be annoying. Another downside is that some content looks pixelated at times, and despite my efforts to get the image to focus completely, it always seemed a little out of focus. That may not be true for those who don't wear spectacles though, and the pixels do make a difference as well. But it's not all bad. There are a bunch of things that you will absolutely love on the headset. Animated movies like Invasion are a treat to watch and paint a picture of what VR can be capable of in the future. Gaming is another area where the Gear VR was a lot of fun. Classic games like Into the Dead and Temple Run, which have VR variants, are a clear indicator of the level of immersion VR brings to the table. To put things simply, it's the same difference you will face when playing Dance Central with a controller and playing the game with a Kinect. Playing a dog-fighting game on the Gear VR was a lot of fun. And there is a game called Samsung School of Rugby that will make you go round and round in one spot, literally. Now, one thing that I'm really happy about is the amount of content that's there at your disposal. I mean, unlike 1080p or when 4K came out or when 3D as a technology was introduced, the biggest problem was the lack of content. But with the Gear VR, there is enough to get you started until more app developers get on the drawing board and start making apps for the Gear VR. But should you actually consider investing in a Gear VR headset? Well, that's very subjective. If you own one of the 6 smartphones that's actually compatible with the headset, then it makes sense to purchase this headset to get your first VR experience. The Gear VR isn't a perfect device. The screen is slightly pixelated. If you are watching content on it or playing a few games, it isn't the most high fidelity when it comes to the resolution. It also is very heavily dependent on your smartphone's battery life. But if you are someone that owns one of these 6 smartphones, of course they are highly priced smartphones, and if you want your first experience of a good VR headset that is mobile. Now, we have seen the likes of the HTC Vive, the Oculus, the PlayStation VR, but those are PC and console VR headsets respectively. You do have cheaper alternatives like, let's say, the Google Cardboard, which is compatible with almost any smartphone available out there. But then again, building a Google Cardboard means you will have to find a way of keeping it on your head and not just holding it in front of your eyes. So where the Samsung Gear VR really succeeds is giving you that immersive experience of a VR with a mobile device. So yes, if you have one of the 6 smartphones that's compatible, then you should definitely pick up a Gear VR. And if you don't, well, if you are planning to invest in a new smartphone and if that smartphone happens to be one of the 6 that's compatible with this, then you can also tag on the price of the Gear VR and invest in it. As always, you can ask us questions about this product in the comment section below and we will do our best to answer it. You can also like this video if you liked it, and as always, you can subscribe to the Digit YouTube channel for more videos like this one.